There are mornings when you wake up and feel like you're living someone else's life. Everything repeats. Alarm clock. Rushing to wash up. Rushing to work. Working all day. Coming home exhausted. Dinner. Then scrolling your phone until midnight. Sleep. Repeat. You wonder, is this really all there is to life? You think about the dreams you once had, and they seem like faded fragments. You used to want something more. But now, you just want to survive each day. Sometimes, you look at people who seem happy and successful and think, they're just lucky. I'm not like them. I don't have time. I don't have a choice. But what if I told you? That's not true. You are not stuck. You are not a prisoner of your circumstances. You've just forgotten one simple truth: you always have a choice. You may not be able to change everything at once. But you can change how you respond. And sometimes, just changing your response is enough to start changing your life. I once had a friend, his name was Eric. He wasn't poor, but he wasn't rich either. He had a stable job, a small family, and a packed schedule from morning to night. Every day, he woke up at 6 a.m. As soon as his eyes opened, it was rush mode: coffee, emails, meetings, deadlines. By the time he got home, he had just enough energy to collapse on the couch, glued to the TV or mindlessly scrolling his phone until he passed out. One Saturday afternoon, we caught up. I asked him how he was. Eric smiled faintly, but his eyes were lost. He said, "I'm okay. Just busy. Work's been crazy." I asked, "Busy, for what?" He went silent. Looked away. Then whispered, "I don't really know." Eric wasn't lazy. In fact, he worked hard. But he was constantly running, without knowing where he was going. He thought, "I have to do this. I don't have a choice." He had a family to support. A job to keep. Responsibilities piling up. And all of that convinced him that he couldn't change. Sound familiar? Have you ever felt like Eric? So many of us live like that. Not because we don't want to change, but because we believe we can't. We blame our bosses, the system, our parents, our past. But the truth is, we've imprisoned ourselves inside that belief. Eric was a good person. A capable person. But only when he realized that he still had the power to choose, did his life begin to shift. There's something most of us don't realize. We spend much of our lives reacting rather than living intentionally. Like a machine set on autopilot. Someone makes us angry, we snap. Too much work, we complain. Things don't go our way, we blame the world. Stephen Covey calls this reactive living, a way of life that makes us surrender control over our own lives. Habit 1, be proactive, is a powerful reminder. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not ruled by your emotions. You always have the power to choose your response. Being proactive doesn't just mean acting fast or going first. It's the ability to consciously choose your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions. You can choose to stay calm instead of lashing out. Choose to listen instead of defend. Choose to act instead of complain. Being proactive also means not making excuses. Not blaming your boss, your coworkers, your parents, or the system. It means taking ownership of every decision, no matter how small. You can't control the weather, the economy, or how others treat you. But you can control your inner world. You can grow your circle of influence, starting with a proactive mindset. And that is the foundation for everything else. Because if you don't believe you can choose, the rest of the habits are meaningless. Proactivity is not just the first habit, it's the key that unlocks a life of meaning and direction. After that conversation, Eric didn't say much. But I could tell, something inside him had shifted. Not everyone changes overnight. Not everyone flips a table and starts a new life. Eric didn't either. He didn't quit his job. He didn't go find himself in the mountains. He didn't do anything dramatic. But he started small. A few weeks later, I got a message from him. I started waking up 30 minutes earlier each morning. Not to work, just to sit. Just to sit. It sounded simple, but for someone caught in the grind like Eric, it was a quiet revolution. He used those 30 minutes to breathe, journal, and ask himself one simple question. Is what I'm doing today taking me closer to the life I want? And that question changed everything. Eric realized he'd been living for years without ever truly asking himself what he wanted. He worked not from passion, but from habit. He said yes to too many things, out of fear, not desire. He'd forgotten how to choose for himself. Slowly, he started to reclaim that power. He said no to a draining project, even though it made his boss unhappy. He took one day off, not to go anywhere, but to be alone and think. He signed up for an online design course, something he once loved but had long buried. Eric didn't reinvent himself overnight. But he started living with intention. Each action came from a conscious choice, not a reaction. He stopped blaming his boss, his job, or his life. He owned his decisions. I remember asking him months later how he felt. He said, "I still get tired, but it's not the same kind of tired. I'm tired, but I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that makes it feel lighter." I looked at Eric, once lost in his own life, now rediscovering his way. Not a map someone gave him, but a path he was carving on his own. Eric reminded me that being proactive doesn't require a loud change. You don't have to quit everything. Sometimes, it begins with something small. Waking up a little earlier. Saying no when it matters. Asking yourself, is this really what I want? These aren't big things. But when repeated daily, they can build a whole new life. And the best part? Anyone can start. Even you. Even right now. You know, life won't wait for you. Today will pass, whether you live it mindfully or not. And if you don't choose how you want to live, the world will choose for you. Be proactive isn't just a motivational slogan. It's a powerful reminder that you are not a victim. You are the author of your life. Start small. A few minutes of stillness each morning. One intentional no. One decision that comes from within, not from pressure. Each proactive choice brings you one step closer to becoming the person you truly want to be. Don't wait until everything is perfect to change. You are the one who makes the change possible. And if you're still doubting, just remember, you always have a choice. Choose a better reaction. Choose a new thought. Choose to truly live, instead of just exist.